You can see us as a way for people to be ready to be hired faster.
This is Filipe, co-founder and CMO of Talent Protocol, an ecosystem which connects supporters in Web3 talent by offering the launch of Web3 verifiable career profiles and social tokens. Let's dive straight in. For the start, what is Talent Protocol?
Yes, hi Sophie. Talent Protocol, I think the best way to explain it, at least that people like it the most, is imagining if LinkedIn and Patreon had a baby, and that you could support your favorite tech workers instead of your favorite creators. I would say that the goal of Talent Protocol is providing these people that are looking to grow some kind of support in doing so. And the support is, we do provide some direct support, but it's mainly making it easier for them to find like-minded people, find people that are able to support them. So people that have already the hard skills but don't have the Web3 knowledge to enter Web3, so they're registered looking to get some more Web3 knowledge, and meeting other people is a way to do that. And we have the opposite, which are kind of usually younger people that are more Web3 native, but they don't have the hard skills yet.
Diving a bit deeper, what are the benefits from launching your own social token with Talent Protocol compared to these Web2 platforms?
So where should I start? I mean, there's a lot of differences, but I think the key one is, for example, comparing it to Patreon, is subscription versus having a stake. So Patreon is basically you pay a monthly fee and you access whatever that creator offers. It can be content, written, or any kind of content. So you're paying, you get something back every month. On Talent Protocol is about having a stake in someone's career. So you can think of it as a difference between paying and investing. So you're actually not paying for a service, you're actually kind of voting with your money, or kind of signaling with your money how much you believe in that person, and by staking that money, you're getting access to that inner circle, to that for example, that person's team. So you're part of their career, and yeah, it becomes careers become a multiplayer game instead of the single player, very competitive game we have nowadays. And that's one key difference. I think another important difference, and I think this applies for both Patreon and LinkedIn, is that with the token, you're actually independent of the platform app. Although Talent Protocol is what you use to create your token and for your people that stake on you to kind of to interact and buy and sell the token, the token is actually independent of the platform. So if Talent Protocol disappears and the application disappears, you still keep all of those relationships. People will still keep your token. You'll still have your own token. So it's independent of the platform. And even we don't need that dramatic of a scenario. It just means that if someone else appears and creates another app on top of our protocol, it means that people can just use a competitor instead of our app, with no cost at all, because they own all of the underlying data and infrastructure. Our goal since the beginning was making these tools, social tokens, accessible to most people. And this is kind of why Talent Protocol started, because we thought that this would be a very high value tool for most people, but too complex for it to get adoption. So our goal is actually abstracting some of the complexity. And so basically you create an account with just an email address, and then you connect a wallet later. So you need a wallet so that you can own the token, like we spoke. And then the process is quite simple. You basically apply to launch a token, because we want to make sure that people are doing it for the right reasons, the right motivations, and that they have at least a minimum amount of information in their profile. And after that, it's just basically 2-3 clicks and you have your token.
This episode is brought to you by Lens Protocol. Lens Protocol is a Web3 social graph designed to empower creators with full ownership and control over their content and community. Lens isn't a social media app, it's a protocol that lets Web3 social apps thrive through its open source tech stack. When you create content on Lens, you own it. You control it, you take it from app to app, and you decide how it's being monetized. While Lens might just be the last social media handle you will ever need to create. Talent House, a scholarship program of Talent Protocol, aims to connect people with different skill sets, either Web 2 or Web 3 related. Why is this important to accelerate the growth of the space?
I think one of the reasons, and in my case, I do come from a marketing background, so I'm at the intersection of Web3 and marketing. And one reason is that Web3 marketing has some key differences, and the foundation is a bit different. So I think the best practices that work in Web2, not all of them work in Web3. So and also it's still kind of a small community with its own kind of a culture and codes and kind of vocabulary. So it has a learning curve, kind of a time for even if you're a skilled marketer, you need to understand how this different world operates so it can be effective. And I think that's probably the reason, because there are a lot of skilled marketers, including in our platform. But I think what we feel is that a lot of them are actually entering Web3 through Talent Protocol. What we felt is that a lot of those people are kind of discovering and experimenting in Web3, and we are one of their first steps and actually doing that. We know by just looking at their wallet. So a lot of people are actually creating a wallet to create their Talent Protocol profile and to create their own token. So in some cases, one of their first on-chain transactions ever is launching a token, which seems a bit weird, but yeah, at least they're kind of experimenting and learning about the space.
One successful strategy you pursued in the process of growing your user base is the Talent House, as already mentioned. Can you give us some more context around it?
Actually, I mean, it started as a very simple idea. Just let's create a scholarship to help people with a high potential to come to conferences and hackathons, and especially people that cannot afford to do so, because we saw how impactful being in these events in person can be to someone. So in a lot of cases, these are people that don't have kind of peers or like-minded people around them. You meet experienced people and people that can mentor you, advise you, or even hire you. I think the key idea that's behind how it works is that, because actually we don't pay for the majority of the costs for Talent House. So basically what we did was came up with this idea, and we are making the idea work, and we're making sure we get the right people and talented people to apply, and we select them, and then we get sponsors, other companies that are also interested in helping and interested in finding talent, and we get them, and they sponsor most of the costs.
Talent Protocol grew its community to over 150,000 members in under 2 years with a marketing approach which you yourself call frugal marketing. Can you walk us through this approach?
I think, I mean, first of all, this kind of resonates to a lot of people, putting these two words together that we don't see very often. Frugal and marketing, because a lot of times you associate marketing with spending or even wasting money. But I think frugality has been kind of a mindset that we try to cultivate at Talent Protocol since the beginning, not only in marketing, but in everything. Since the day one where we started making decisions regarding our values and not having an office, working async first. But by frugal, I don't mean cheap, and that's important. So it doesn't mean saving at all costs and cutting costs, whatever it takes. I think frugality is not necessarily spending less, it's avoiding waste. It's looking for the initiatives that have the best kind of impact effort ratio. So what are the things that will give me the most return and impact based on the amount that I'm spending? So I think in a nutshell, frugality is caring more about value than about price.
Today's episode is brought to you by Talent Protocol. Talent Protocol is the Web3 professional platform for high-potential builders. Create a Web3 resume to make meaningful connections and to unlock access to scholarships and work opportunities. Talent Protocol is a community with a mission to help the next generation of talented builders to achieve fulfillment and success. Sign up today with the link below and receive $50 worth of TAL tokens when you complete your profile.
Since day one, Talent Protocol has been building in public. What would you say is the biggest benefit versus the constraints it gives you?
So I think the obvious benefits are increased accountability. So now there's a lot of people that you're accountable to and for, and we have different ways when we share, but one of that is a monthly community call where we even share. So this is what we commit to deliver until the next community call. So everyone that's watching knows that we promised that. So accountability is one. Of course, you get much more feedback, and the feedback loop is much bigger. I would say the third one is like a increased sense of community and belonging. So it's not only the team that feels like they're building Talent Protocol and that they're part of the project. There's a wider group of people that feel that they are part of the project, they are helping build it. And of course, when you get a lot of people with that feeling, it makes it a lot easier to build and to build something together. And I think regarding the constraints that you were talking about, I think one constraint or challenge is that you need to be very good at both documentation and communication. So, because building in public is not just giving people access to your tools and your documents. Building in public is making sure that people understand what's written there. So it's easy for people to find information. It's easy for people to understand that information without anyone explaining that. But I think even this constraint and this challenge is ultimately good, because I think these are skills that are vital, especially for an async company like ours, and it just forces us to be better.
Looking back, what was one experiment to grow a community which wasn't successful, and what can other founders take from this?
Starting to build community or having marketing campaign around the token instead of around the product. So there was a stage in the beginning that we were able to attract a lot of users and a lot of interest because people were excited about the promise of our token in the future. The token didn't even exist, but just by the fact that we used the token as a part of the messaging, I think kind of mixed the signals. So kind of the people that we were attracted for the wrong reasons, not because of the value proposition of our application and our product, but because of the possibility of making money in the future.
Last but not least, what is your secret for attracting and hiring talents?
We're actually, nowadays, we don't hire anyone for full-time roles directly anymore. So we changed our approach more than once in the past, but now what we feel that works is that having this community approach. So first, find people who are excited about your product, and then we have a thing called bounties, which are basically small projects or tasks that we outsource outside of the team. So things that can take, I don't know, a few days, a week to complete. It can be a little bit of code or kind of a design task. And based on these people that deliver good work, they can kind of move on to a part-time position. But even in this case, the part-time, I think, is they can have this while having another full-time job. And then after that, moving on to a kind of a core contributor role where the commitment is bigger, but still very, very flexible. And we found that this is, at least for us, the way that works the best, in which we can find the best talent, and something that we didn't know in the beginning and that we've been constantly iterating.
Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you're interested to dive deeper into Web3 and to connect with like-minded people, definitely stop by Talent Protocol.